opening statement, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Sure. First of all, I'd just like to say what an honor it is to be here and be at such a great bowl game, and obviously, in our second national championship game. This is a great town. They do a great job here, and I know our guys are really excited about getting the opportunity to play in the game. And, it's good to see you guys again. So, from there, we'll roll with the questions.
Questions, please. Raise your hand, and we'll get a microphone over to you. Second row right here. Cecil.
I'm Cecil Hurt from the Tuscaloosa News for Coach Mack. Since we hadn't had a chance to talk to you since the first time you played LSU, just talk about what happened, what was frustrating about that game, what you can take positive from it from November the 5th.
Sure. The one thing that we take positive is, our guys competed their tails off, and that's something that we're proud of as a staff. I thought, our guys played hard against a very, very good defense. Obviously, we came up short a little bit, and, I think our resolve and wanting to get back out, is something that we're really shooting for. But, they are a very, very good defense, and there's no doubt about it, and this will be a great challenge for us.
First row right here.
Coach Chase Goodbread, Tuscaloosa News. Coach McElwain, the first time you went through this experience in 2009, it was with a first-year quarterback, Greg McElroy. Now you're a game away from the same thing, also with another first-year quarterback. Just how unlikely is it that you could take two first-year guys and see them through this far? And what are the challenges of working with first-year quarterbacks?
Well, I think the great thing about working with first-year quarterbacks is I don't have a couple years to screw them up. So they're doing a pretty good job of taking what the defense is giving them. I think AJ's done a good job as an understudy, and I think one of the great things there that you kind of lose focus on is he had an opportunity to learn from Greg how to prepare. And I think Greg was a great study for AJ, and I'm really proud about the way that he's progressed.
Left side, third row.
Izzy Gould, Mobile Press Register, McElwain. I wanted you to talk a little bit about how AJ performed in the LSU game. I know a lot was made out of the sack that he took in overtime. And then can you talk a little bit about your personal relationship with him? Obviously, you had Thanksgiving dinner at your house.
Yeah, he put up with my cooking. It was unbelievable. He actually smiled and said he liked it. I don't know if he really did or not. But, obviously you get real close to those guys. We spend a ton of time together. And, AJ has really done a good job, I guess, adapting to my nuances, and which is really good. He obviously has some plays he'd like back. But I tell you what, he competed hard. And, he's ready to go, and we'll see where it is from there.
Right here on the right side.
Hey, Coach. Doug Mouton with WWL-TV here in New Orleans. Could you talk about LSU's corners as cover guys, as good as you've seen? Sort of from your standpoint, how good are they?
Scary. They're the real guys. And, I think that's one thing even in this league that you see. I mean, the defenses in this league, are really, really good. And these guys are at the top of that heap. And our receivers, I really believe we have a great receiving core. Guys that compete hard, guys that want to go out and win. And yet they'll have their hands full because, that back end is as solid. Even when they bring guys in, in their different packages, they're all really good cover guys. And yet, that's how you get in a game like this. So, we've got our work cut out for us.
Left side, third row.
Here, Coach. My name is Johan Esk. I'm from Sweden in Europe. I wonder if you can...
Well, is the soccer match over there?
No, that's the interesting thing. For us in Europe, we don't have this thing with college sport. I wonder if you can try to explain how come you Americans are so passionate about American college football.
Oh, you know what? That's a great question. I think one of the things is probably the physical nature, number one, and kind of goes back to gladiator days maybe a little bit, and yet I think it's probably has to do more with the fact that it's ours. You know, it's something that kind of has grown up here, and our culture has grown up with it. And, you know, the passion of the fans, and especially, you know, in the league we're in, is unlike anywhere else. But I think that probably has something to do with it.
Right here in the third row.
Coach Jeff Shear from WSFA in Montgomery. How have you been able to balance moonlighting, having two jobs at one time?
Well, it's been a challenge, but I think as these guys can attest, you know, our focus since I left there has been, you know, for this ball game, and what I try to do is late at night make the calls and catch up. Coach Saban has been unbelievable, you know, a help, because he went through kind of the same thing when he took the Michigan State job when he was with the Browns. So leaning on that experience, and he's been really good about helping, you know, with some of the office staff and that kind of thing. And you know, it's routine is normal. You know, as a coach, you don't get any sleep anyway.
Right here on the right side.
Really a question for all three of you guys. Sean Fazan from WVUE TV here in New Orleans. What is the biggest challenge of offensively when the long layoff in between games? Just kind of how do you guys approach that? How did you guys approach that?
You want to go on that?
Yeah, I think something that's really important, just kind of maintaining your rhythm. I think the way we approached it is we had a few days where we kind of had almost scrimmages, you know, where we did a lot of ones-on-ones reps that were just about full speed, everything but tackling. So I think you got to do a lot of that, a lot of one versus your defense, just to make sure you stay in sync as an offense.
Just pretty much what Barrett said. You know, just the timing and the situation of the game, and just, you know, using what we got to get what we want.
Right down here in front.
Rachel Barbeau, Cox Media Group. This question is for all of you guys. Coach, you talked about it being kind of a gladiator feel, and I think everybody in the country looks at these two teams and realizes that that's what you have on display and what's going to happen on Monday night. If you'd all just comment on knowing the team so well, playing them year in and year out, being in the same side, the same division, and then also having the rematch this year.
Well, obviously this is a great rivalry, and you know, we've got tons of respect for this outfit. They're very talented, and you know, I think knowing each other, you know, from a preparation standpoint, I'm sure there'll be some new wrinkles, you know, because of that fact. Yet, you know, we're just really, really excited to be here, and I think our guys know that we have given, you know, kind of received a second shot, and we're excited for that.
I think this is a really unique game just because the first time we played in this game, I said it was the most physical game I'd ever played in, and I believe that. I think that's why it's such a cool opportunity to get to do it again, just because, you know, it's really not a secret, you know, what we're going to do and what they're going to do. You know, it's going to come down to who wins in the trenches, and that's kind of an offensive lineman's dream, this kind of game, you know, where you can just be physical, and, you know you're going to get a physical game from them because of the style of their defense and the talent of their defensive line. So I think, you know, as an offense, and specifically as an offensive line, we're really excited about that challenge.
Mainly because I think the name, because both of our teams are physical, and that's what we pride ourselves on, and that's what they pride themselves on. So the thing about it is who gonna be more physical in the game, and that's what we're working on in practice, and that's what we continue to do until Monday.
Left side, front row.
Don Counselor of the Birmingham News. For Jim, you've had 4 years now of being the offensive coordinator, working under a coach who's all about defense. What's that been like? Has there ever been friction putting a game plan together or calling particular plays?
No, there's never been. I couldn't have asked for a better experience. Coach Saban is all about helping. He's all about the whole team, all three phases of the game. And, you know, I think the one thing we've done a pretty good job of since we've been here is complementing each other and understanding that at the end of the day it's about figuring out how to win the game, however you do it. And I think Coach is a master of that.
In the back, Pete.
Pete Thamel from the New York Times. Jim, a little bit of a philosophical question here. When you look at this game, the LSU and you guys obviously have the number 1 and 2 defenses in the country. When you look at the NFL playoffs, the Packers and the Patriots have the 2 worst defenses in terms of yardage in the country. It's probably a little bit of an anomaly, but I'm just wondering philosophically how you think we got to this point where they're 2 sort of so different means to an end.
That's pretty good. I think, still at the end of the day that the idea is to make sure that you're sound against the run defensively. You're able to stop people down in the scoring area. And I know as an offensive coordinator, it's great to have those good defenses. And that's something that over the career maybe we didn't have. And yet it's pretty comforting. And, to think of it from that aspect, those are 2 obviously great offenses, and yet, I think the big games are really come down to who can stop people, and that's the key.
Right side.
It's for Coach and Bear. It's Mike Neighbors from Cox Sports TV. Trent's had a great year. What has he meant to this offense, and how do you see his role in this game?
I think there's no secret that he's our most valuable player on offense. I think more than that, he really is just a great team player. When you think of Trent, he's a guy that I love blocking for just because of the way he approaches the game. I think there's not many people who could have sat by for 2 years and kind of played behind Mark, where he probably could have started anywhere else. And I think for that reason, the way he was a teammate and showed that patience, we were all really excited for this year where he could kind of get his turn to shine in the spotlight, and he's done a great job of that. And obviously, I think it's going to be extremely important for us to get him going this game. And as an offensive line, we know that's our responsibility. So, really excited that Trent's getting this opportunity, and glad to be there right alongside him.
Right here, right. I'm sorry.
No, I'll second that. And just an unselfish guy, and I'm glad he's on our team.
Brad Zemanek, Montgomery Advertiser, and this is for each of you, but we don't get a lot of chance to talk to Coach McElwain. But could you at least just describe the players of what he's like as a coach? And for Coach McElwain, could you describe what type of an offensive coach you are? What are some of the things that you like to get accomplished that we don't have the inside access to?
Well, I'll let these guys have a chance to take a shot at me. Go ahead.
Man, he's fiery guy. I love him. I think we all love him. Great coach. Gonna be a great coach at Colorado State, and I wouldn't want to go in this game without him. My bad. And I love him, and I feel like he loves us, and he tell us what we doing wrong. He will get on us, no matter from Trent, myself, Barrett, anybody on offense. He will get on them. Even the scout team guys, he get on them. So he's always hollering. So sometimes we have to keep him up. We have a little thing where we put our hands up. Sometimes we have to grab Coach's hand and pull his up. Some days at practice.
I think the biggest thing about Coach Mack is I think he's a teacher first. He's a great teacher of the game, and he really, I think you can tell he really has a passion for that. That's what he really loves to do is teach kids like us the game, and he's extremely gifted at that. Just the way he breaks down offenses and helps us understand it. The second thing is definitely his passion. He's extremely passionate about Alabama, about us as people, and he always knows what we need. If we're getting too confident, he's going to be there to bring us down, and if we're dragging a little bit, he's going to be there to motivate us. So we've loved being under him. I've been under him my whole career, and what a great offensive coordinator, and I'm really going to miss him.
Just because of what they said, don't think you're getting off easy this week, okay?
Left side.
All right, Richard Fisher, Tiger Rag Magazine. There's intense coaches and laid-back coaches, and there's no doubt that Nick Saban is on the intense side of that spectrum. What is it about Coach Saban that you two players really say, this is a guy that I want to play for?
Just his approach to the game. I don't think nobody approached the game like Coach Saban. He approached the game full attack. He never looked a day further. He going on that day. So I think his approach to the game and that his intensity. And that's what he instilled in all of us, that intensity and that physical playing style.
I think the best way to put it is, when you're getting recruited, you go around to a lot of different places, and you hear every coach sitting in their office and tell you that they're going to win a lot of games and you're going to be a big part of that. But then when Coach Saban tells it to you, you just believe him. He looks you in the eyes and says, we're going to win championships, and he lays out a specific plan of how he's going to do it. And I think, that's what guys buy into. And I know me personally, I knew when he told me that we definitely were going to win championships, and that's what's happened. And it's been great to play for a guy like that who has such a specific vision and who really knows how to get there and who's done it before. And another thing, he's not quite as – he is very intense, but he also does joke around some, when you guys aren't looking. But he is sometimes laid back and easy to talk to.
Back on the right, Pete.
For Marquise and Jim, I wonder, Marquise, did Claiborne cover you much in the first matchup? And if you could tell me a little bit about his skill set as a corner. And for Jim, you've obviously seen a lot of good corners in the SEC. I'm wondering if you could stack Claiborne up and talk about his specific skills that make him unique.
Well, in the first game, I think he is a left corner or right corner, I'm not sure. But he really didn't go with me much. He just stayed on his side. He's a physical guy. Long arms, like the quick jam, just an all-around great player, and I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Well, how that guy stacks up, I think was your question. I'll be glad not to play against him again. Guy's pretty good.
Do we have any other questions? In the back.
For Coach Mack, Brady Ackerman, CSS. Coach, how much do you look at the last tape and take the good from it and implement it into this game plan? And how do you keep from over-preparing with this long time off?
That's a great question. I think sometimes, as coaches, we've had 40 whatever days since we played, and kind of making sure that you don't put too much in and think about, from that standpoint. But, I think it's a great learning tool from, every year we've played, against this defense, and against the guys that they had. Obviously, we made some mistakes in the first game, and those were things that you always try to correct no matter what game it is, and then move forward. And I think spending too much time in the past sometimes, we've got to look forward and get ready to just play it with whatever we have.
We have time for one more question. Anybody? Right here on the right side.
Joe Medley, the Anderson Star. In particular, when you look back at the first game, were the things you look at when you get in scoring position, red zone, that especially? Yeah,
that was obviously a frustration for us. And, I think that's has a lot to do not only with what we didn't do, but obviously what they did. Like I said, I can't say enough how much respect we have for them as a defense. And, when you look at the lack of plays down in the red area from accumulation of a full season, kind of tells you how good that defense is.
Thank you. Alabama, thank you. All right, let's go right here.
Izzy Gould, Mobile Press Register. AJ, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the experience of playing LSU the first time, what you learned from it, and what was most frustrating coming out of that game.
I'd have to say, playing them the first time was a special experience for me. Just the tradition between Alabama and LSU and the rivalry, they've always had. It wasn't, that great of an experience coming out with a loss. But, as a team, we felt like we kind of let it, slip through our fingers and get away from us in the end. And hopefully this time, we won't let that happen.
Back on the left hand side, Ron.
Ron Higgins, Commercial Appeal, Memphis. This is for Trent. Trent, you kind of got to know the Honey Badger at the ESPN College Football Awards and the Heisman Trophy ceremony. Can you talk about getting to know him and then watching him on film and just the type of guy he is? Because I know he thinks a lot of you.
He's a very motivated guy, and he's a special guy at the same time because when I was down there, I got to find out that he was adopted, and to come from a situation like that and being as small as he is, man, it tells you a lot about him and his personality and what his ego is for real, man, because he got a guy like that, and people, start to, say that you're not going to make it, you're not going to be this, and that, but you got a guy that came where he came from, and that means a lot, man, and it means a lot around the community where he's from and, around the world for real, because it tells you that, hey, you're a little guy, and you can't do this and that, but he's got he plays like he's 6'4", and he's a very eager guy, and he's ready to go out there and play every play like it's his last. And when it comes for a guy like that, man, and it came from the situation he came from, it means a lot to everybody for him, and it gives a lot of hope to kids out there, and that's smaller than what most of the kids is nowadays.
Down here in front, right side.
I'm Chase Goodbread with the Tuscaloosa News. Question for AJ. Talk about maybe the biggest challenge about being a first-year starter at your position, and why do you think you're a better quarterback today than you were in August?
I'd say the biggest challenge is, playing. Like I didn't play like myself last time. I felt like I did a good job of taking care of the ball and trying to get it to the guys, but I didn't really play the game with a whole lot of emotion like I usually do. And like I said earlier, after the Florida game or during the Florida game, when I was getting the crowd going, and Coach told me to calm down. And then after the LSU game, he told me to play with emotion again, that he missed that. So, I definitely got to come out, play with emotion this game like I always do. Just play my game. But, as growing as a quarterback all year long, I felt like, I've done a pretty good job so far. Coming in your first year, you're always, not going to know a whole lot going into it. And right now, as of now, I feel like I've been here forever. This season's, taking a long time, and I feel like I've seen everything, especially going, against our defense every day. They throw everything in the book at you. So, but my guys around me have done a great job, especially my offensive line, helping me grow as a leader and as a quarterback all year long, though.
Down here in front.
This is for all three guys, Rachel Barbeau, Cox Media Group. But first, AJ, you talked about growing as a quarterback and finding your way. I'm interested to know what you learned after that loss to LSU and how you think personally and as a team and how you guys have used that to improve as a team in this rematch.
For me personally, I felt like I said, I felt like I should have played the game with a little more emotion. Every game, you're not going to be perfect going into the game, and especially after the game, you just kind of try to eliminate as many mistakes as you possibly can. I felt like on personal level, I felt like I missed some reads that I usually make. But at the same time, like I said, a big game like that, things, always don't fall your way. You need a little luck sometimes. But I felt like the way this team has grown since that game and our mentality has, been so, I guess, so much of like we don't want to let anything like this ever happen again and slip away from us. And I feel like we've done a great job of, proving that we belong here and that we should get a second chance at it.
Right in the middle, in the back. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
For me and as a team leader, and I'm sure VLACHOS and AJ can say the same thing, that when it comes to being motivated, this is the most motivated game that we have, in the season, as far as being a championship and a rematch, because a lot of people, voted us out and didn't want us to be in this ball game, but Monday night we're going to show them why that we should have been in this ball game, and why that we shouldn't be, voted. I'm not saying that we're going to win, or I'm saying that we're going to lose, but when it comes down to football, it's one of the things that you want to, that we strive on and want to be, remembered as, the team that came down in history and, had the most significant season and an outcome in the season that we want to be winners and want to be the elite program. And so for us to be at this situation now that we in, that we just love being the underdogs, and we love that being a team that that nobody want to see in the championship, and that put a big chip on our shoulder and tell them, hey, we're gonna show them why, or we're gonna prove why that we should be in this game. And the voters did good, and they put the best two teams in the situation to play this ball game on Monday night, when they did. So for us, to be in this ball game, it means a lot to us and our community around Tuscaloosa.
What's the question again? I'm sorry.
Basically, what did you learn from the first game, from that loss as a team, and how have you used that to improve with this rematch?
I think the biggest thing that we saw after the loss was, it's what Coach Saban says all the time, and it sounds so cliche, but it comes down to what we do. They're obviously a great team, and they made more plays than we did, and they won. But I think when you really look at it, it comes down to our execution and the little things that we did do or didn't do, and that's something that we've been emphasizing since practice started this month. And I think just refining the execution of the game plan is what we're focusing on right now. And I think it makes you kind of sick sometimes to watch that film because there's so many little things out there that as an offensive line that. If we sustain our block for another half second, Trent's going for 60 yards and not 6, and I think that's something that we're conscious of.
Okay, in the middle.
Hey guys, Rick Carley, Fox 6. William and Trent, do you want AJ to play with more emotion? You want him to play with more calm? What is your assessment of how he might go into a game?
When it comes to AJ, I think he played way better when he's playing with a lot of emotion. But whatever make him comfortable, man. And that's one thing he like to do is play with emotion and keep us going and make sure that he's yelling at us on the sideline. We come on the sideline and tell us everything's going to be okay. Don't get down, and we'll get the play back. That's what he do, and that's what quarterbacks do for real. And if you ever see a quarterback, they all into the game. And you watch the good quarterbacks today, they all into the game. And so AJ's one of them guys he's going to be one of them guys that you can say he was one of the best quarterbacks in the NCAA. And so he do what he do, and we have fun with him, and we love to play for AJ.
First of all, I just want to say that playing quarterback at Alabama is extremely hard. The scrutiny and the pressure and the expectations that you deal with on a day-to-day basis is something that I couldn't imagine. It's something that I have to deal with playing center. So I couldn't imagine having to, deal with it on the level of playing quarterback. So, AJ's done a tremendous job all year. He's really impressed all of us, and we're very, very, very proud of him. So I think however he wants to play, that's we trust him that's what he needs to do to get his job done.
Okay, on the right side.
Mike Neighbors, Cox Sports TV. 2 questions for Trent. Your teammates and your coaches talk about your unselfishness. You waited 2 years to become the featured back, sharing carries with Ingram. Talk about how that made you a better back this year. And speaking of Ingram, he's in New Orleans. He had surgery this week. Have you talked to him at all?
To be a running back and to come in and to be a big recruit, you'll think that a guy like me would be selfish and be ready to play or transfer or something like that, but it's nothing like that, man. And when I got here, I knew it was running backs in front of me, but I didn't care. And my attitude was to go in and just try to do anything I can to try to contribute to the team. And so when it comes to situations like I had, man, I love the experience because I can say I have played with a Heisman Trophy winner. And I can say I was on the national championship team, contributing to the team my freshman year. And I can say I'm here now, and I can say that I was, around a group of guys that you'll always be remembered. And to be in a situation, where you had Mark on your team and to be a good leader like he was, man, and you can never get that situation back for real. You can never take that from me because Mark, he was a team player, and he really showed me a lot. And, with him being him and him going to situations that he had been through with all these awards and all these good goals that he had to set and the ones that he achieved on. I mean, so for me to be a team player, and I've never been selfish, and that's not me. I really think if you're selfish, that you're missing out on your blessing for real, and that's one thing I really, try not to do. And so for me to be in the situation I am now, man, I love it, man, because these group of guys here, just being around them and be surrounded around them, I never want to play with another group of guys, or have been on the same, another team with another group of guys like these guys here.
Have you talked to Mark this week about the injury or what he's going
Oh, no, I don't really try to get into that stuff there. And I know he's going to do good, whatever it comes down to. Mark is a warrior. Mark is the same guy that had surgery 1 week before the game and came back in 2 weeks. I mean, so he always been Superman in my eyes, and I'm pretty sure Mark, when he do come back, he's going to come back stronger and have fun what he doing.
In the middle, Dick.
Yeah, Trent, Dick Weiss from the New York Daily News. We were talking in the other room about your daughters, and you said that you never wanted them to have to go through what you went through growing up. Could you talk a little bit about what you did go through and how it made you stronger?
For me, when I was growing up, man, grew up in Pensacola, and where I grew up around in Warrenton, and it was crazy out there because when I went through, it was, a lot of deaths going on, a lot of drugs around me, and that's just where I was just brought up at. And so for my little girls to have, the opportunity they have today, and they daddy to, try to make a better place for them, I don't want them to go through nothing what I went through. I seen my mom work 2 or 3 jobs at one time, and had to come home and make meals for us, and had to come clean up behind us. So at the end of the day, it's like, I don't want my kids to go through that, and they daddy got he in a situation where he can make, life better for them, and, and he can show them how the hard work has been done, because that's what my mama has showed me, and that's what my brothers have showed me and taught me the whole time, while I was growing up, and never to give up and stuff like that. So I'm in a situation where now, and I try to, show my girls that, it is, a struggle out there, and it is hard for us, and, parents out there. And so, I don't want them to struggle like I did, and, had to go through the stuff I went through. And so that's really motivated me on the field, because when I play with my girls on my mind, I don't feel like nobody can stop me.
In the back, Pete.
Pete Thamel from the New York Times. AJ, I'm wondering if you could break down Morris Claiborne as a corner for me a little bit. I know obviously picked you off in the first matchup. What's his skill set like, and are the challenges that he poses?
I don't really know his skill set, but, the guy's one of the best corners in the country. You don't really have to know the game to know that. He's all over ESPN, all over the draft status and all that. The guy's going to be one of the top guys taken in the NFL draft this coming draft. So the guy's one, like I said, one of the best cornerbacks in the country. You got to respect him. You got to respect his game, and at the same time, every guy's got his weakness though, and you got to know it, and you got to take advantage of it when you get an opportunity.
Right down here in front.
Bill Dwyer, LA Times for AJ. Did you ever get back on a wave runner?
Yes, sir. I own the fastest one Yamaha makes right now. It tops out at 89. My mom doesn't like me talking about it, period. But I'm crazy on them. Me and my buddies, I was raised on the water. So during the summer, when I get an opportunity, to get away from football, I'll go golf early in the morning and then go out on the river. And like I said, my mom hates it, but I'm still crazy on them. So,
right side in the back.
Charles Hannegriff, WDGL for AJ. Talk about the advantages and disadvantages, if there are any, of putting a game plan over this amount of time. How much you guys put in 2 weeks ago, a week ago, and how much is still to be put in, if any? Or are these practices more of a review?
I personally, and I know the guys next to me will say, like, the advantages definitely are, you're able to look at them longer. And you're able, when you're preparing for just 1 week, it's really almost like 2 days. And then after 2 days, your game plan's got to be installed, and you got to know what you got to do and when you got to do it. But now that we've had a little while longer to, prepare for them, I felt like our coaches have done a great job. And we got the best coaching staff in the country by far. Coach Saban's led us to 2 national championships out of the past 3 years. So, the only disadvantage I'd say you have is preparing too much, which some teams can do sometimes, because you find and you look at too many things and you try to take advantage of too many things instead of just going out playing the game. And at the end of the day, it's a game of football. You got to have some luck go your way. And but I felt like our team has done a great job preparing for this game so far.
We have time for 2 more questions. One right side.
Hey guys, Matt Coulter, Cox Media Group. I assure you it was way before curfew, but I did see a few of you and your teammates out in the French Quarter last night. Did you have a good time? What'd you do? And did you see anything that you've probably never seen before?
I'm going to pass that question to them.
I didn't leave the room, so you can ask them.
So everybody gonna put the question on me. I mean, yeah, it was different because I mean, that's just, I mean, we have a strip, but we don't have a strip like that. And you know, being that, you know, environment, man, it's crazy because you see stuff that you never seen before. And I mean, and the people are part on that street all day and all night. And, you know, that's what they get out of it. It was different seeing the French Quarters because that's all I can really say about that because it was fun. So,
Gentlemen, we're going to end on that note. Thank you very much. Thank you.